Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Look at this winter wonderland here. I promise you, it's prettier than it actually looks. It's like camera's not so good at catching shadows, but it's pretty out here. I'm gonna put some more here. Look at that. Look at that. Very nice environment. Not so far away this time. I decided not to go too far away from civilization this time. This is the part of the woods that's a little closer to civilization. As you can see, there's some handrails and stuff. The other one was way deep. The handrails just ended, like there was some handrails or whatever, but they like stopped, like whatever the corner of the last video I was in. Anyways, it's been a while. Sorry I didn't do a YinConfidential last time, because I was A, on the road, and B, I was working on the book. I'm trying to wrap this thing up, and so there's lots of stuff going on in the back end when it comes to that. I do want to talk about something else though today, something that's a little bit, I'm a little breathless today because I ran all the way up here in all this. I normally, when I'm running, I don't normally run in like heavy gear. I need to start doing that more. Maybe I'll wear weights next time when I run, then I'll get used to it. Anyways, so this is the topic I wanted to talk about today. I noticed something, and it's an excuse. It's an excuse people have, but the truth is, it is possible. It's like, when you see a problem and you know what the solution is, and it's obvious to you, but it's not, it's either not obvious to other people, or B, people make excuses, and we're in that category now, and I've accepted it. And the problem I've noticed is these big companies who are talking about, how do we reach out to new readers, or it's the same problem across the board. DnD, WOTC's having the same problem. Marvel, DC, they're having the same problem. It's the same problem. And that problem is how to reach new readers, A, and B, how to increase sales, right? And C, how to regain faith and hope and trust in readership, right? How to get those people back. And there's the dark side. The dark side is you're not getting those people back. A lot of people were burned by the OGL nonsense. A lot of people were burned with the race nonsense that the companies were pushing. And it's hard to, you know how the saying goes, it's hard to build trust, but it's very easy to lose it. It takes a long time to, gain that trust, but it's very, very easy to lose it because people have better things to do. Most of these readers who are like the big readers, the big readerships, they're getting older. They have other responsibilities. They have kids. They have new, it's a new paradigm. It's a new dilemma. It's a new problem, but it's also a new opportunity. Every problem that exists, there is an opportunity. Okay? And the thing is people don't want to, a lot of these guys don't want to accept that. A lot of the people who are in the businesses, they don't want to accept that. And I'm speaking to the people who do watch this and are accepting it and are open to new ideas. So this is for you. If you're in the industry, if you're a new company, if you're a new producer of like adventures, comics, books, fantasy, this is for you. I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom, okay? Because there's lots of people like me who will never talk about it. Who will never, for every one of me, there's like 100 extra people who will not talk about it, who have other things to do. They move on. I'm interested in, kind of putting it out there and, making it more known, one, because I'm confident in this. I already know I'm going to be okay. And make aware of this, you make people aware of this, that, I exist, right? I'm putting myself out there with that. And of course I'm going to get criticism for it, and that's fine. But again, at the end of the day, this is about, collaborating, talking, having that open discussion about it. And people who love, this is a channel for people who love fantasy, people who love the old school classic stuff, Conan, Robin Hood, the old Robin Hood, Camelot, Merlin. We're talking about all these things that were what you grew up on. We're talking about like Johnny Quest, even though Johnny Quest is very old. I hardly hear anyone talk about Johnny Quest. We're talking about stuff like Zot. Shout out to Scott McLeod. Even though he probably might not agree with me, and that's okay. We're all different. We're not all going to be the same. Or maybe we agree. Maybe we agree about the problem. Maybe we agree about the problem, but we disagree about the solution, and that's fine. That's fine too. Again, I'm not an echo chamber. I am always open to new ideas and new ways of looking at things. I'm not about like, oh, this is my way. This is the only way it works. And we'll talk about something else in a minute that's related to that. And that's the confidence and wrong part. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, there's lots of material out there that you can go back to. I talked about this last time in the live stream. You can go check out the live stream. I'll put that in the description. Where a lot of people are going back into reprints, old stuff, right? We're talking about when it comes to, for example, novels, people going back to the old Dragonlance. People are going back to the old R.A. Salvador books. People are going back to, reprints of comic books, old X-Men runs, Thor. People are going back to what was fun, what they enjoyed. The old Star Wars comics, the old Star Wars books, the Timothy Zahn books. This is what sells. This is what sells. When when writers knew what people wanted and they created stories, because that was what the writers also wanted, which is a big, the big reality check for a lot of these new writers is a lot of what they like isn't sellable to the mass audiences. And then two, which I'm not trying to be rude about this, but two, it had classic mythology, right? Classic things that people grew up on when they were kids. Greek stuff. We're talking about, the knights, shining knights, round tables, dragons, slaying dragons, slaying monsters, saving the princesses. These things are timeless. I don't care what anyone says. These are timeless concepts and they sell. Now, I'm going to do another video, later this week where I talk about the whole Dungeons and Dragons video, the movie, going where I thought they would go, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that later this week, but just kind of hinting on that, little tinting of that. They saw an opportunity in subverting expectations, subverting the audience. Again, pushing a narrative that people don't want. They just want entertainment. They just want a story. They just want a story that they can go in, escape their normal world, go and be in this new world for a couple of hours, and then go home. That's what people want. And a lot of these people are just trying to create this new kind of dynamic. Oh, what about this thing? It's old. That's tried and true. Everyone tried it already and it failed. The subverting things, the super princess, don't need no man. How many times has that been tried by Hollywood and people have rejected it? It's over. That's done. It's gone. Try something new. Try something different. Maybe go back and look into the past and see what worked, and then bring it back in a new kind of your whatever packaging, whatever packaging is to your liking as far as like, colors you want to use or whatever, commercialization that is modern today. I don't really pay attention to today's ads, which is probably a flaw in my own thinking. I'll have to open my mind about that. But you get what I'm saying, like a repackage of modern times as far as like what the, using graphics and stuff, right? Technical stuff, not like the actual, like the ideas behind it. You just want to put the new wrapper on the old stuff that worked. Example, Marvel Comics. They have a whole slew of books, a whole slew of history books that they can, they're history books now. A whole slew of books. You can go back to, X-Men 72, Uncanny X-Men 72 and repackage, do what manga does. Look at what manga's doing. Look at what manga's doing. I'm sorry, man. It's tried and true. It's been working. They repackaged the old stuff. They put it in a new, a new format, whatever the template, whatever the cover they're using, and then they put it on the shelves. Bakuman, another book that is just about making comics. A manga about making manga is selling crazy. They're on my shelf every time I go to the bookstore nearby. It always sells out, and it's always in a row in a new package. I'm sorry, you guys. This is simple. This problem is easily solved. Go back in the past, resell what was working with a new package, then explore what's already in there, right? In the stories, explore what worked, write it down, make notes, tell new stories with that same style, with those same ideas, with that same moral standing, that moral fiber. The soul has to be in your new stuff. If you don't have the soul of the old stuff in there, it's not gonna sell. People are done. They sniff out subversion and they're done with it. You know, again, you can have, that's not to say you can't have, you know, ideas that, like, for example, slavery or something. You can't, you can tell a story about like slavery in your story and have some sort of, you know, overall human, you know, emotional, moral to it and still sell. You can do that. I mean, look at old Marvel comics. They do that all the time. There's tons of stories about I mean, look at Genosha. The Genosha arc should already tell you. If you don't think the Genosha arc is about like slavery, like encapsulating people, imprisoning people, like there's a lot of, you know, a lot of those flavors from real world stuff in these stories. And it's just how you do it. It's all about how you do it. Are you able to go back and learn how it worked and then apply it? Or are you somebody who's just gonna like, pow, put your thing in there in front of everybody and say, this is what it's about. And you're bad if you don't agree. It's so inconfident. You lack confidence and self-esteem when you do that. Everybody already sees through it. Nobody likes it. They feel weird about it. And they didn't escape. They're now back in the real world. Great, thanks. Anyways, that's just my thought. Let me know what you think, guys. I know this is like a very kind of controversial topic, but I feel like it needs to be said because it's so obvious to me at this point. Like, I'm looking at the old books selling out and I'm looking at the new books and I'm just like, one of these things is not like the other. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? And that's not to say, again, that's not to say you can't tell an interesting story with ideas that you want to put in there. It's just about, did you learn the mechanics of the old stuff, how they did it? Did you learn how they executed it? No, you didn't. You didn't learn. You just plowed it in there. You just said, we're done. Anyways, let me know what you think. Appreciate your time. God bless. Have a great day. Bye-bye.